The SA Sailing League and its event partners would like to acknowledge and pay respect to the traditional owners of the land on which we stand and sail, the Kaurna people of the Adelaide Plains. It is upon their ancestral lands and waters that this event takes place. We pay respect to elders past, present and emerging. We respect their spiritual beliefs and connections to the land, which are of continuing importance to the living Kaurna people of today. We further acknowledge the contributions and important role that Aboriginal people continue to play within our shared community.
Welcome to the City of Port Adelaide for this, the inaugural SA Sailing League, taking place in the inner port of Port Adelaide. I'm Nick Bice, your commentator for the day, and I'm joined by the ever so lovely Maddie Salter. Welcome, Maddie.
Thanks, Barcy. Pretty happy to be here. And what a beautiful afternoon it is for the final series of the SA Sailing League.
We've seen some great racing already this weekend. We had the qualifying for Pool A last night, the qualifying for Pool B this morning, and now we are into the finals. The weather gods are playing with us. They're playing the right game, and I think we're going to have a great battle on our hands. Now, what needs to happen today for the winner of this? They need to win 3 races. Like I said, the weather gods are playing the games with us. We're currently sitting in a nice sou'wester. Hopefully that's going to stick with us for the rest of the afternoon for that first person to walk away with being crowned the SA Sailing League champion.
And get that pretty good looking trophy right next to us here.
Now, speaking of this trophy, Mads, this being the inaugural event, it is a great looking trophy, and this is what we're all racing for, and of course the prestige to be the best club in South Australia. And we're joined, and we have some of the best clubs being represented here. And that first club, who we'll introduce now, Largs Bay Sailing Club. Skippered by Luke Stevens, or affectionately known as Snook, a Port Lincoln expat, spending quite a bit of time at Largs Bay Sailing Club, and he is a champion in himself. He's made a very high impact in the fireballs since he's been racing them, virtually untouchable in this state. 3-time Sydney Hobart participant on board Concubine, Australian Sharpie national champion. He sails wasps, and let's not forget the 2-time World Holdfast Trainer champion. You know Snook well, Maddie? How do you feel?
Yeah, Snook's one of my best mates, so seeing him out there today is going to be pretty cool. Along with Ryan Kelly as well in his crew. Yeah, 2 good blokes that sail Sharpies against me often. So yeah, it'll be good to see them battle it out.
Absolutely, and we've got joined, as Maddie said, joined by Ryan Kelly, who's his best mate, and also his fireball crew. Chev Brulon, who is Australian Sailing Board member, and Ryan Huxco, who is a Largs Bay up-and-coming junior. we look forward to seeing them out there today. Now, let's go straight to our second team that we'll introduce, Brighton and Seacliff Yacht Club, Team 2. Sandy Higgins, an old sparring partner of mine over the years, and he certainly performed very well this morning in the earlier sales today. He's joined by Paul Marsh, a long-time crew member of his, and also they have Sam Sanderson on board and Joe Mitten, a long-time campaigner also. They'll be ones to keep an eye on, I think, Maddie.
Yep. Especially with Jo having an injury this morning. She had a bit of a scrape on her calf today. And yeah, she's all patched up before, so she's all good to go.
Hope she didn't get any blood over those brand new Elliott 7s that have been lent to us by the Cruising Yacht Club of South Australia. So we look forward to seeing what they can do. As I said, Sandy performed very well this morning, especially in the early pieces. He jumped out of the blocks very strong in his qualifying round, and he held on to that first place for a long time. So he will go very well, and I know he's got a lot of fans, not only here in Adelaide and who will be on the docks watching, but also around Australia, whether they've sailed against him in numerous classes, be it 505s, Sharpies or whatever it is. He's always been a very good campaigner. What we might do now, I've just seen all the sailors started heading down to the dock, so I think we will get a cross down to our man on the dock, the roaming commentator, Keeney. Over to you, my friend.
EYC. Dale, give us a bit of insight to these boats that you've brought.
Yeah, so these boats, the Elliott 7s, they're a perfect platform to use for the SA Sailing League Championships here. They're quick, they're nimble, they're fast, but at the same time, you know, they're a one design, so they're really well suited for tight racing. So the club's done the state a great thing and invested in these 6 Elliots here, and the Youth Sailing Foundation at the club is going to utilise these to develop the youth in the state and you know, use the platform for events like this too. So it's pretty awesome, definitely tell you that.
So there was a bit of breeze on last night. How did you cope that, bringing all the boats down here?
Yeah, there's a few proud moments, go to say. The bridge is not too far from the leeward mark, and we had a fair bit on last night, so we got away completely unscathed, which was great. Today, feeling way more relaxed. The breeze is down a bit, so looking forward to some tight racing. Yeah, it's going to be good. Let's see who comes out on top, eh?
And with the boats being pretty new, normally you have a few teething issues. Have you had any issues so far? It's all been a clean slate.
So far, so good. Yeah, there's been a few little bits and pieces. We've switched one of the boats out just because it had a little bit of a stiff rudder, but besides that, like, they're not too bad. Small little things, but everyone's going to deal with them, and it just comes down to the sailor to make the most of it out in the water on each boat. So yeah, all pretty good from my end, I reckon.
Yeah, beautiful. There you have it from Dale Geddes. We'll just keep moving around here. We'll bring it around to Chester, who's on the CYC team. Chester, you've done a fair bit of sailing on TP52s and kill boats. How have you found that adjust or translate over to these boats?
Way busier on this. You got so much more to do, and short laps, quick work. It's tiring. Good fun though.
So on the kill boat, often it's, you know, not a lot of sitting around and then plenty of action at a time. So you find any constant activity, you know, a fair bit to handle with, or how are you coping?
Yeah, no, you just you get around the bottom mark and you just catch your breath by the top mark here, and you've got to go all again. It's just non-stop. Big boat, you get plenty of time to sit and think about what you got to do. Here you don't, so it's good, keeping us on our toes.
Yeah, beautiful. There you have it with Chester. We'll keep moving around here. We'll go around, work the deck. We've got the Port Lincoln team sitting here, getting fired up, ready for the racing. They had a good qualifying series. Had a couple of problems with the tiller on their boat. It was a little bit sticky, but once they swapped that out, they came in hot and were doing really well. So we've got Ash Dye here, the skipper of the team. Ash, how did you find the warm-up this morning?
For us, it was pretty difficult in the first couple of races, but definitely warm to the boats. We're pretty new to them, and no, it's good.
How did you find sailing these boats? You say you're pretty new, but what's the tips for the next person going to sail them?
Oh, I think, well, for us going into this, I think you just got to keep things simple. Don't try and overdo it, and if it's set up for one way, you just got to do that.
Yeah, beautiful. There you have it from Ash. We'll move along here to Big Dipper as well. Dipper, sailing with your daughter. You've done a fair bit of it now. How do you find that?
Yeah, no, it's great. It's an opportunity to be able to do something with your kids. There's not many sports when you can go out and compete with your daughter, so yeah, loving it.
And what's the plans for this afternoon? Three wins to win the event. How are you going to go about that?
Yeah, well, obviously they've set up the format so that everyone has a bit of a crack. There's no taking it conservatively. So yeah, I reckon we'll probably go out and see how we go.
Yeah, beautiful. Thanks for your time there. We'll keep moving round. We'll go around here to the Largs Bay boat. Luke Stevens on the helm with Ryan Kelly, Ryan Hutchko and Siobhan Brolin on the boat. They had a really good qualifying event as well. Breeze was up a bit early, struggled to sort of really early on, as did everyone in the warm-up, but eventually settled down and had a really good event. So we'll talk to Luke here, who's just getting the boat sorted. Luke, talk us through your warm-up yesterday, or last night, I should say.
Yeah, it was good. First few races, probably just getting used to the boats, getting used to the crew work. All haven't sailed together, but yeah, got into it, and by the end we were, came out on top of the pool, so we're pretty stoked with that. Very tough pool as well.
Yeah, sure. So one of the big things about sailing these boats is the crew work. Have you guys sort of had a review overnight, and any improvements you're going to make today?
Yeah, especially with the light weather. Ryan and I came down this morning, had a bit of a watch, see a few of the different techniques they were using in the lighter stuff. So hopefully we gain a little bit out of that, and also reviewing with the Melger stuff that Chev and I have done previously as well, getting a bit of knowledge out of that. So.
Yeah, sure. Can you open the door and give us any tips on what you're trying to change, or so close secret at the moment?
I wouldn't have thought so.
Yeah, beautiful. There you have it from Luke. Pretty closed door. Bit of tension down here on the dock, to be honest. So, we're looking forward to this afternoon's racing, and it should be a great event. Back to you in the commentator studio.
Thank you, Keeney. And it looks as though it's all started down there. The competitive edge is coming out, and we saw some pretty familiar faces of the yachting royalty of South Australia. In saying that, let's have a preview of the next couple of teams. First up is the Cruising Yacht Club of South Australia. So, the Cruising Yacht Club of South Australia, skippered by none other than Robbie Doosan. Robbie Fritz Doosan, one of the best, and I've certainly been on the receiving end of a couple of his covers, let me say.
Okay.
And he's joined by some crew out of the Cruising Yacht Club South Australia who've spent a bit of time cutting their teeth in the Jeff Betcher Secret Men's Business Program.
Yep, so we've got Chester Armstrong, which is one of the regulars that hops on to Jeff Betcher's Secret Men's Business, the Orange Boat. And then we've also got Josh Hinks that does a bit with them too and is heavily involved with the Youth Sailing Foundation. And we've got a new person, Lauren Galloway. So she's recently moved to South Australia from the East Coast. I believe it was Sydney. So she's had a bit of time in the Elliots before. So definitely a team to beat.
Yeah, I've heard Lauren talking earlier. She had spent a lot of time as part of the Sydney program sailing the Elliot. So she will bring nothing but good experience to this team. Because keeping in mind, these boats are brand new. They have not been sailed in South Australian waters before. And these guys and girls haven't necessarily sailed them at all. So they're getting into it. Next on the list, somewhere close to my heart, the centre of the universe, Port Lincoln Yacht Club. Port Lincoln Yacht Club being skippered by Ash Dyer, our only female skipper in this edition of the league. So she is going to bring it all out. She qualified their team earlier this morning, off to a bit of a slow start, but then started putting the hammer down and was certainly a force to be reckoned with. So I'm expecting big things out of Ash and her team. And who's she joined by there, Mads?
So she's joined by her father, Andy Dyer, who they've sailed together quite regularly, as Sean has just told us on the dock. And we've also got Hannah Hood and Max Derman. So they've all got pretty strong youth participation still. And then you've also got, Ash that's done a lot of work with her dad in the Sharpies. And, I used to compete against Ash and she's a very good sailor. So it's good to see a girl helming the boat.
Absolutely. And like you said, joined by her father, Andy Dyer. And I must say, having done many a sea mile with Andy, he'd be one of the guys that I'd like to go to sea with most. And he's just a genuine good competitor, good bloke, knows his yachting, and he'll be helping get that boat around the course in the best shape possible. Now, an event like this, Mads, it doesn't happen without the help, the assistance of the locals, the community, and none more so than the city of Port Adelaide Enfield. They've helped us along the way here to get us here today, providing this beautiful backdrop, and it is true stadium sailing. Myself and Harry Fisher, in the organisation of this event, we stood on the Birkenhead Bridge that we are braced by here and said this is the perfect position for yacht racing. And the Port Adelaide Enfield Council have been super supportive in getting this event here and supporting the event and basically making it happen. You've had a lot of experience in different regattas around the world, Mads, and talk to us a little bit about the support that is needed to make those things go ahead.
Yeah, so we both know, and I think anyone that's been at a yachting regatta, there's a lot of effort, time and effort that gets put into these events. And without having the support from your councils and your community, then these events aren't going to be run. You got your volunteers, you got every little thing that you probably don't think about. It all comes into play. So it's awesome that they've come on board and they've been heavily involved, and it's awesome.
It was imagine turning up to meet the councillors or meet the people within the council and come to them with this concept of actual stadium sailing. And stadium sailing, what are you talking about? Well, it's boats literally metres from the dock, and we've got the perfect dock wall here for things to happen. And like I said, they just embraced it, took it on, and we're going to have a great spectacle here today. But let's hand over back to the dock with Harry Fisher and Mayor Claire Bone.
Thanks, Nick. Thanks, Maddie. We're down here on the docks, and it's an absolute pleasure to be joined with the Mayor of the City of Port Adelaide Enfield, Claire Bone. Claire, how fantastic is it to have the SA Sailing League, the inaugural SA Sailing League, here in Port Adelaide?
We are so glad that you've chosen to host it right here on Port River. There's so many potential opportunities here, and you've taken hold of them, which is fantastic.
Yeah, I mean, this area, as sailors, we look at it and go, this is perfect for stadium sailing. The sort of natural amphitheatre of sailing that we love is right here in Port Adelaide like this. We've seen it in places like Newcastle and now setting it up here in Port Adelaide. Where do you guys as a council sort of see the future of sporting events and sailing events and water sports here in Port Adelaide?
Yeah, look, it's not a working wharf anymore. So to be able to have something else happening here on the river, which brings people to enjoy the historical precinct of Port Adelaide, utilising the fantastic facilities of the Port River, we're absolutely thrilled with what's to come in this space. So by you guys hosting this inaugural event, we are so excited about what can happen into the future as well.
Now, there's plenty of talk happening internally at the council around the potential of setting up major sporting events here in the port. A work had been done previously around a concept like a Port River Sports Festival, bringing multiple sports together on water and off. How does that fit in with your strategy as the Mayor and as a council to really activate a place like Port Adelaide?
Yeah, look, all of our local clubs who are situated here on the river are really keen to see more happen and wanting to be part of bigger events. So we're seeing lots of opportunities here. There's lots of historical events which we may be able to consider bringing back into a bigger festival. So watch this space. We're really keen to jump on board.
And the Cruising Yacht Club of South Australia, who are in the council area, they've obviously invested in this fleet of boats, which has allowed this event to happen. Do you reckon you're going to get down the club and maybe go for a sail on them one day?
I wish they'd ask me. I really, really want to. I used to sail on the lower lakes at Meningie, so I'm keen on it. Invite me out and I'd love to be part of it.
Well, there you go, Dale Geddes, Adam Hayes, Dave Royal at the CY. If you're listening to this, make sure you give the Mayor a call and invite her down for a sail. Claire, it's an absolute pleasure to be joined with you down here on the docks, and yeah, hope you enjoy the racing.
Absolutely. Thanks so much, Harry.
Anyway, back to you guys up there in the commentary position.
Thanks, guys. Mads, it's heating up here. People are starting to come down. Check it out. We've got the first boat out on the water, Luke Stevens, looking to kick off in around about half an hour's time for the first warning signal. I see the race officer, Malcolm Hughes, has set up for an upwind start. We've been playing with a bit of upwind and downwind in the qualifying pools, which was a lot of fun. Makes it a little more colourful for the downwind starts. But the breeze is just settling quite nicely now, and we're going to get we don't see any delays at the moment. Can you notice anything obvious out there, Mads, on the water?
Not at the moment. I think looks pretty consistent from what we've seen today. It's not really filled in like this before, so I think we're in a chance for getting some good back-to-back racing in. This morning we had a bit of delay, we had a bit of postponement, waiting for the breeze, a couple of breakages on the boats, so yeah, hopefully we can knock a few underway and see where the winners are.
Just to explain to the viewers out there, and what they'll be able to see with our drones that are up, is we really are in a natural amphitheatre. To the south, we've got the Birkenhead Bridge. To the north, the Derek Diver Bridge, and on the beautiful wharfing here and across the river, we've got the Birkenhead Tavern. So it really is a natural amphitheatre. What we saw last night was a lot of people out there over at the Birkenhead Tavern. It is quite conveniently located. There is a front bar, it's very close by, and they were viewing things. So if we're having a look now, we've got the eye in the sky, and here we have Harts Mill, which has been part of Port Adelaide for a very long time, and it's been currently decommissioned but used for various things, and especially showing off different artwork at the moment. And it's a beautiful, beautiful building. They hold markets in there every now and then and all sorts of things, and it's surrounded by that new playground there, which I must say my kids do love to bits. Now what we can see there is what is the academy. That used to be TAFE, and Mads, I must say I'm a bit older now, but I used to actually attend that TAFE. And that's where I honed my skills to becoming a shipwright. So it is quite close to home for me. Panning around now, we're literally looking straight down the racecourse. We can see the couple of boats sailing down there now, but that is literally where the wind is coming from, and that is the sailing from the Derek Diver Bridge all the way up, and that is what is probably one of the most famous bridges in South Australia, the Birkenhead Bridge. On the right of the screen, we see the new Quest hotels, which the Lefevre Peninsula has become a thriving area over the last few years, especially with all the shipbuilding going on, and there's always been a need for more accommodation, and this has harnessed that need the whole way along. And then let's not forget literally where we are sitting right in front of the Fisherman's Wharf Market, which is thriving. Little market, has little stalls, it's very quirky, it's open on a Sunday morning, and there's little food stalls around. There's a lot of little knickknacks that you can find in there. Got any favourite knickknacks, Mads?
Any favourite knickknacks? Well, I've actually taken up to knitting, but probably won't talk about that on the live stream. But yeah, I haven't been down here before for the markets, but definitely something I want to do in the future. Since I'm only new for South Australia, haven't explored everywhere, but first impressions of coming down here on Friday night, it was just, as soon as I saw the water, I was like, this is an awesome spot for sailing. Wish I was sailing. But someone's got to do the job on the land as well.
Yeah, that's right. It's one of my regrets here as part of the organisation side to not actually be out on the water. And what we can see, we've got 2 boats out there now. Getting their mind game, their play face on, and coming up to what we can see sailing now is Luke Stevens of the Largs Bay Sailing Club coming up to the top mark. We can see the orange buoys there, Matty. That's the windward gate, and then all the way to the left top of the screen, we can see those yellow buoys down there. That's the bottom gate.
And that's Port Lincoln in boat number 1 coming down there as well. So we've got Port Lincoln and Luke Stevens out on the water first. We've got another boat coming on there now too.
So what we've seen so far during the qualifying rounds, Matty, is 2 lappers. So 2 lap races, which basically start windward gate, leeward gate, back to the windward gate, down to the finish. Generally the races have been between 12 and 15 minutes long. And chatting to Malcolm before the finals, he's certainly aiming to get that style of racing in. And just a reminder to the viewers, the winner, to become the winner, to be crowned the league champion, you need to first to 3 wins. Now, have we got a surprise for you? We had, just to explain a little bit to the viewers, we had 2 qualifying rounds, 5 boats each round, and we've got 5 boats sailing in the final. So what that meant is the top 2 from each qualifying round went through, and there was a wild card. And that wild card is the Christie's Beach Sailing Club. Yep. So another very seasoned campaigner right there who's it showed a lot of potential this morning. And I wouldn't be surprised if yes, they are the wild card, but I wouldn't be surprised that they're going to go very well. Having come out of the VX class and also sharing the boat with his VX crew also. Chris is joined by a great crew today, and we're looking forward to seeing them.
Yep. So he's also got on board 2 VX co-owners in crews, which is pretty impressive. You've got Scott O'Sullivan and Kirsty Sullivan, and then you've also got Ben Applin. So yeah, this team, like Bicey said, they may be the wild card, but they sailed very well and very consistently this morning. So I think they're definitely going to be a team that we're going to watch out for.
No, you're right. And Ben's the youngest competitor on the course today, so a big hats off to him.
How old is Ben?
So Ben, well, we definitely know he's under 18 because we gave him a little heads up before of what was going to be happening to the winner and told him just close your mouth, Ben, if things start going a little bit loose. All right, so 4 teams on the water. Everyone getting their game face on. The breeze to me now, Matty, it's looking 8 to 9 knots coming in from the sea breeze direction, so I think it's going to stick around. It's going to stick around. And to get a bit more of an idea on what's going on the water, let's cross to our roaming reporter, Sean King.
We're just down here on the wharf. We're about to head out now. Breeze-wise, it's a little bit light in this pocket here. There is more breeze down the other side of the harbour. The forecast says that it'll pick up slowly throughout the afternoon, but nothing more than 10 to 15 knots. Boats at the moment are just cruising around, doing their warm-ups. As I said before with Luke, the key to today will probably be the crew work. So a lot of the boats are working on that. I mean, getting kites up, getting kites down, sailing around the course, and making sure they're working together as a team. We're just about to head down onto the rib, and we'll be able to get on the water and give you a better update when we're out there.
Yeah, so We are on here right now. We're literally 20 minutes away from the first warning signal. Things are looking good. Things are looking strong. Everyone's just putting themselves through their paces. Not forgetting, we could be here for 3 hours racing, so it's a fine balance for these sailors, how hard they go out now, the training and all those sorts of things. And mentally tough as well, Maddie.
Yeah, so especially yesterday we saw last night, there was a lot of tired faces after a couple of races. Some of them didn't have water on board, so we had to chuck some bottles out to them. But yeah, it was definitely, and this morning was mentally hard for our competitors, but they were also just physically exhausted. There's a fly right there. So yeah, it's definitely, they had to have that bit of rest in between the qualifier B this morning. I know a couple of them went to the pub and just had a rest. Not sure if anyone got in the beer, but they definitely had a bit of a rest and recharge. So we'll see how they go this afternoon.
And just a reminder for how we got here. Last night it was windy. It was well over 20 knots by the start of the qualifying pool, and then it did die down a little bit, so a bit of reprieve from the physical side. But going through the numbers from last night in qualifying A, Largs Bay Sailing Club, Cruising Yacht Club of South Australia, Brighton won, Adelaide Sailing Club and Grange. Largs Bay Sailing Club came out on top with 31 points. Cruising Yacht Club of South Australia, who are here today in the finals, 29 points, only a couple of points off. Brighton won, skippered by Alex Higgins, was third on 28 points. Adelaide Sailing Club 26, and Grange, sailing in their first competitive event for at least 20 years, 21 points.
Yeah, we've got Jason Clark that was on the helm there, and he hasn't steered for a very long time too. So it was awesome to see people testing their limits last night. And yeah, they had a couple good races. They didn't have some very good races to the end, but that just shows that they were physically and mentally exhausted. But yeah, it was awesome to see new people into the sport of, with the Elliots especially, down here last night.
So qualifying B, which was sailed this morning, in what you would say very light and shifty conditions, was taken out by Brighton 2 Sandy Higgins on 29 points. Port Lincoln Yacht Club on 25 points. Christie's Beach on 22, who made it through as the wild card. Royal South Australian Yacht Squadron, skippered by good mate Caelan Howard, on 15 points, and Lake Bonnie rounding out the 5 on 7.
And for our listeners, Bicey, do you want to just explain how that point system works? Because normally in sailing, it's whoever has the least points.
Yeah, so normally in sailing, it's a low point scoring system. So normally the winner gets 1 point, and second gets 2 points, and so on and so forth. In this style of racing, it was a maximum point. So in the 5 boats, if you were first, you get 5 points.
Yep.
So last night we sailed 9 races. This morning we sailed 7 races, so it's very tight, and basically that's how we decided who goes through. And as mentioned, the wildcard Christie's, they snuck through on an average 3.14 their average was for the racing this morning, over Alex Higgins, who was third in qualifying Pool A, on 3.11, so by the skin of their teeth. So the teams we have out there now, they're all getting prepared. Boat number 1 is the Port Lincoln Yacht Club. Boat number 2, Brighton and Seacliff Yacht Club Team 2. Why we say that is there were 2 teams from Brighton, and believe it or not, father and son. They didn't get to duke it out against each other, but at the moment, father has bragging rights. Boat 3, Largs Bay Sailing Club. Boat 4, Cruising Yacht Club of South Australia, and Boat 5, Christie's Sailing Club.
So when we're mentioning Boat 4 there, Barcy, we've got CYC. They actually own these boats, and these boats are only new to the fleet now, aren't they?
Yeah, the Cruising Yacht Club of South Australia have been working on this project for quite some time now to get these boats to Adelaide and to create something, and what they've created is a youth sailing foundation. And hopefully the plan with that has been quite successful on the East Coast, especially in Sydney. these Elliots and what they can do, but basically create a pathway and kind of that connection between the dinghy clubs and build that bridge between the dinghy clubs and the big boat clubs and help create that bridge from the people jumping out of dinghies to get them into big boats. Have you ever sailed a boat like this before, Matt?
I sure have. I was one of the first people to take them out for a test sail. So, yeah, I've done my keelboat instructor's course not that long ago. So, been working alongside Dale Geddes quite a bit, also known as Plugger. So, yeah, we've done a bit of the work on the Elliots, and they're awesome boats. We have Elliot 6s down in Tasmania, so I did a bit of time in those too. So, yeah, know the boats quite well. But, yeah, there's definitely a lot of people this weekend that have jumped on the boats for the first time and done a pretty good job. So they're pretty, I guess, adaptable boat to sail on, aren't they, Barcy?
They certainly are, and they're perfect for this type of racing. You can swing them around, much to the horror, I think, of some of the board members of the Cruising Yacht Club of South Australia. I don't think they quite knew what they were getting into, and when it was 20 plus knots yesterday afternoon for the qualifying, it was on. But let's not forget, we have the best of the best in South Australia here. If you were to put five skippers' names down, who would be in the top five skippers in South Australia, these guys straight there.
Yeah. Last night the racing was very close, and so was this morning. But I couldn't even pick it when I saw the lineup for last night. Everyone has a lot of rich sailing history and a lot of keelboat experience, which is what gets you over the line in this instance. And yeah, it just shows to go like how much experience actually helps you out there. So yeah, no, it's definitely going to be a tricky one to pick tonight.
15 minutes till the first warning signal. Do you have any favourites there, Mads?
I do have a couple of favourites. I haven't put any money on it though, Barcy, because I can't be doing that as side
That's
hustle.
right, gamble responsibly.
Yeah, gamble responsibly. But yeah, Port Lincoln, because I love Ash, and she's one of my good mates, and seeing a woman on the helm of a boat is always really important to me. And then we've also got Luke Stevens, which I think is a chance. So yeah, I haven't put bets on, but yeah, that's my two top, I reckon. What about you, Barcy?
Interesting question. Having grown up in Port Lincoln, it's quite close to my heart. Yep. Being the Vice Commodore of the Cruising Yacht Club of South Australia, and they've got a very strong team. Being a board member of the Adelaide Sailing Club, basically I'm in a win-win situation here. So I sail with Sandy Higgins on the TP52, another hooligan. He is an exceptional sailor. He is a really great sailor and one of the smartest tactical brains I know. Robbie Doosan, for that matter, is probably equally as smart. Yeah. Robbie Doosan also brings something extra special to the racecourse, plenty of banter, and I am a fan of the banter, so we do hope we're going to be getting a lot of that. And then going back to Ash and team from Port Lincoln Yacht Club, the centre of the universe, they are strong, and what we saw this morning, they really came out the second half of the qualifying round, and they were sailing extremely well. They're getting to know the boat better. So it is really all to play for here. And not forgetting old mate Luke Stevens. He is one of the elite sailors in South Australia at the moment. Any boat he jumps into, he is sailing very well. Be it fireballs, be it sharpies, be it etchels, he's always on top.
You spend a bit of time with him in the Hooligan, don't you?
So yeah, I do spend a bit of time with Luke on board the Hooligan, and like I said, anything he touches, he knows how to make it go fast. So whilst you've got the smarts of Robbie Doosan, Sandy Higgins, I'll guarantee you one of the fastest boats out there is going to be Luke Stevens.
And we're going to go down to Sean Keane, who's on the water at the moment. So you just get a bit of an update, see what he's up to.
and we're out here on the water now, just having a look around at the conditions. Breeze has picked up a little bit from this morning. There's still not a lot in it though, 5 to 10 knots, maximum 6 knots really. There's a few fingers coming down from the top of the course with a little bit of breeze in it. I think it'll be important for the sailors to stay in breeze both upwind and downwind. That'll probably be where the most gains are made. Looking around at the warm-ups, a couple of notable ones is Luke Stevens and Largs Bay. Their crew work looks really slick. I think they've come away and had a bit of a debrief last night. Definitely put a couple of things into action, as you were saying on the wharf before. Looking around though, there's a lot of top sailors. All of them are sort of going through the motions at the moment, trying to figure out which side of the course they want, how they're going to sail the boat. But it really could be anyone's game. If you wanted me to pick a winner, I'm not sure who at the moment. It'll sort of be the first 2 or 3 races, especially with the way that the racing's scheduled. Top 3. For a first person to win 3 races will win overall. So you can expect a lot of people to hang it out on the line, be really aggressive on the start. The race officer has gone for upwind starts to start off with, so that'll make it really interesting. Important there's no real favoured side of the course. As I said before, it's important to stay in breeze, especially in the morning sessions. We saw people go left, hang in breeze and come to the top, and equally they went right of the race course, hung in breeze and were leading at the top as well. So that's pretty much the summary of what is happening out here at the moment. Anything else, we'll keep you updated. Back to you in the studio.
Counting down, Mads, 10 minutes to go. Now, sitting next to us, Mads, we've got this beautiful bit of hardware, the SA Sailing League trophy. It was rumoured initially that the winner was going to walk away with a golden tiller extension, or was it going to be the coveted red jacket, which has been going to be introduced in 2021, or was it ashes in an urn from when this dock originally burnt down? But no, it is this beautiful piece of hardware, the SA Sailing League, ultimate bragging rights, and they get to send this, loft this above their head. And what else do they get the pleasure to do there, Matt?
They also get to go and compete in the National Sailing League, which will be in next year. So this is all for a qualifier. So this is the first state, apart from Victoria as well, that uses this opportunity to get the best of the best to come in and qualify before putting the team up into the big guns. So yeah, it's definitely all to play for, and the best team and club that will be named the SA Sailing League champion will get to go through and sail with the best people in the country, which is an awesome experience. Yeah, that's right. So I believe it's in March 2022, okay. Sailed in Newcastle in another natural amphitheatre like this. They really need to get used to this racing. It's probably not traditional racing in the sense that you go offshore, you can hardly see it, but this is really built around for the actual spectators. And I'm actually seeing now some of the spectators rolling in, one over near the Birkenhead Tavern, as mentioned before, and along this wharf also. So let's not forget also, if they win the State Sailing League, they go to the Asia Pacific Sailing League, and if they win that, they go all the way through to a World Championships as well. Yep. So it's could end up quite expensive for the winner. Yeah, you're not wrong. And sailing is an expensive sport, Bas, but people here that will want that experience and want that time on the water, they're going to pay for it, because especially when you're that good. It's a good thing you mentioned there. I mean, sailing is perceived as an expensive sport, and that's generally because the equipment costs a lot of money. Yep. This type of racing, though, takes those barriers away because the equipment is supplied, and it's just short, sharp, fast racing. And this concept has taken off in Europe, and it's been around there for a few years. It's been very successful. It's been brought to Australia by Mark Turnbull and his team, and now it's filtering down in through the states. Previously, to qualify for the Asia Pacific, you would have to do a southern qualifier and a northern qualifier, but now, and with the
help of the states is running these state leagues. So you basically, the states go through. And I just want to reiterate, we're not talking just the lazy Saturday afternoon sailor here. We have the best of the best out here. You still thinking Lincoln with the current conditions there, Maddie?
I am still thinking Lincoln. They like the light breeze, but Ash also knows how to helmet in the heavier breeze. And you got Dipper helping her on the main, and then you've got two young guns at the front that's going to be able to really pull in that spinnaker around the bottom mark, which we've seen across yesterday and today. That's really something that is challenging some of these guys. Getting that big spinnaker in and tucked away before they're rounding that mark is really important. Did you see that as well, Barcy?
Yeah, I've noticed
yesterday?
the actual the boat handling. And as mentioned, that no one has sailed these boats prior to now. There might be a few, like Lauren, for example. She's sailed the boats, and she's probably teaching just helped their team fast track a little bit. But it is tricky, especially jibing these boats. What I have noticed is the spinnaker, the claw of the spinnaker gets caught on the hanks of the jibs. Yep. So it is, and in conditions like this, there's not a heap of breeze to blow it out and around and through. So it is going to be tricky. And especially, I'm literally 40 metres from the windward mark here. And the dock is 20 metres from that. So they need to get around that mark, get the spinnakers up, get them set, and rolling straight into a manoeuvre. Any delay, and there will be some carnage. We may see some gel coat. Do you got any predictions about any gel coat being rubbed off, Matt?
No, what's a regatta without a bit of carnage, if you know what I mean. But I hope for Dale Getty's sake and the CYC board that there's not too much gel coat lost. But yeah, we've seen maybe one altercation this weekend. Wasn't any damage, which was good. But hopefully there's not too much gel coat lost. But yeah, you're right. There's very tight conditions in here. So yeah, your boat handling has to be up to scratch, and with limited experience in these boats, basically they're just learning while they're out there. Right. Which is also fun of sailing as well.
5 minutes to go now. I can notice a few little bullets just shooting down the course here. So it's probably getting up just a tad over 10 knots now. And the teams are really just getting really into race mode. And just for the listeners at home, we're talking about the Elliott. So we're talking about their Elliott 7 metres long, 2.3 metres wide. They draw 1.6 metres. So over on that northern boundary, won't be surprised if they're pushing it right in there to see how close they can get. Whereas on the boundary where we're sitting here, Mads, it's literally a brick wall.
Yeah.
Probably a softer touch on the other side, but no, they're all very well versed in what they're doing. They all know exactly what they're doing. They're only 850 kilos, not a heavy boat. But for 4 people, you still got to lug them around quite well, and that's what they'll be doing. They'll be getting them there. So we're ticking down the time now, 4 minutes to the warning signal. So the teams, what would they be going through in their mind now, Mads?
So the teams would be sussing out whereabouts on the start line they'd be wanting to start. So in our screen now, can't see it at the moment, but the start is actually between the 2 yellow buoys, not the start boat. So the start boat is at the end, which indicates where they're going to start from. So it's upwind start at the moment. And if they're going to make the downwind start, they'll bring it up our end a bit later on. But yeah, the teams will be sussing out the start line, looking at the wind, seeing where the wind is. A lot of them came early so they could see what was happening before the race. They're just getting their ley lines, making sure that they're really prepared, making sure that spinnaker's tucked away and ready to come out of the bag around that top mark.
It's quite a tactical call here as we're approaching 3 minutes till the warning signal. And just a reminder for everyone at home is we're in a 3-minute sequence, so that's different to what we normally see. The start boat will have flags, 3, 2, 1, and there'll be sound signals, so we'll know exactly when they're starting. But one of the tricks here is where to position yourself. Currently, the way I'm looking at it, I can see that the leeward end or the pin end of the line, call it, looks to be a little bit favoured, but you have the potential to then also be locked out and people taking you out from stopping you from tacking. What do you think, Mads? Any thoughts on the start line? I'll tell you what, Mads. Let's go down to Sean Keane, who is on the water, and he can give us a bit of an update. So,
sounds good. We'll have to see what he thinks about the start line.
technical difficulties on the water, and this is one of the challenges we've also have here today. This is a big setup, Mads. Like, we're sitting here in front of a camera, but we have cameras all over the joint. We've got a couple of men in a van here making things happen, and we've also we have a lot going on. Not to mention the drone. We've got expert drone pilot Kieran, who will be sending the drone up. And on the water, we've got the roaming camera, which will be getting right there, right into that action.
And we've got a lot of audience in the background here. I've got a lot of people speaking up, so it's good to see more people coming down and getting around it, getting amongst it for the finals. Last night we saw quite a few people, like Bicey said, down with us, so that's awesome. And yeah, it was just the crowd's just building. Everyone's getting around the hype. They're looking at the trophy. They're very keen to drink out of it later. I know I am.
No, we've been blessed with the presence of all the competitors, the ones that didn't make it through, plus a lot of sailing fans in general. So this is going to be great, Mads. I'm really looking forward to it. We've got again, the crowd is building on the other side of the banks here in front of the Birkenhead Tavern, and I'm sure there's a crowd building just behind the ST Yelta, which is a tugboat right in the middle, on the edge of the course here, in front of the Lighthouse Hotel. So we look forward to the fans really getting into it, getting the banter up, and keeping things alive.
So it's just clocked to 4 o'clock, so we're getting a bit of delay at the moment, but any minute now we'll be getting the 3 minutes to go. Now, Bicey, I don't want to pick your brain too much on your pre-race plan, but if you were out there right now, what are the couple things going through your head?
Well, it always comes down to what that first shift is, and that is important, but also what is very important is how close these boats are. So you want to keep yourself in a controlling position. As mentioned earlier, if you're going off as the leeward boat, you may get locked out, so you won't be able to tack. Yep. So that is where you want to position yourself and to make that first move. So I know what would be going through Sandy and Robbie's mind especially is that first move. When can they tack? They don't want to be forced too far onto this side of the race course, because the wind is bending a little bit, and as the day goes on, I expect the breeze is going to be a little bit left, so we're going to see some dead areas on this side of the course, and we're going to see some nice lanes up the middle and to the right. Now, we've got some, as mentioned before, I see some bullets going down there, which is promising, which means the breeze is going to stick around for a bit longer. Running this stadium sailing at this time of night, well, it's basically between 4 and 7. And right there, Mads, we have gone into the 3-minute sequence.
So we've got all the flags up there. We'll be zooming in on that shortly. So you got, 3 minutes, so everyone will be getting into their race prep. Like Bicey said, people going through their heads, where's my plan? Where am I going to go on that first upwind? Where are the bullets? Getting all that information and talking to your crew about it as well. A lot of crews will be telling their skipper to just sail the boat and don't stress about the other things, and they'll clean up the mess. But yeah, it's a very crucial part of the race, knowing where you're going to start on the start line. So
we're ticking down now to the 2-minute mark. So they'll be positioning themselves to be in that commanding position. So we've got the couple of boats out to the windward of the line, to the right or left-hand side as we are looking of the line. Then we've got boat number 5, the Foodland boat from Christie's, that will be coming in. They'll jibe around shortly, head back towards the fleet and position themselves. If they want to go for the pin, they'll tack underneath. If they want to try and pick a gap, they'll go behind them.
And what do they call it, the Foodland boat, Bicey?
Well, you got to sell a lot of cabbages to get your name on a beautiful boat like that, and we know none better than one Mr. Jeff Betcher, who knows how to do that especially well.
Exactly. So we can see the start boat here now, so you can see those flags up. The 2 will be coming down shortly, and then it will be followed by the 1.
Approaching the 1 minute mark now, and are you nervous now, Mads, or you've got your mind on the game, you're fully into it?
My mind's on the game. Adelaide's not in the final, so that's made me a bit less stressed. But yeah, it's definitely it's intense racing to be watching, and yeah, you always got to be your mind on the game. But yeah, you can't help but think as a sailor yourself what you would be feeling when you're out there.
No, that's right, Mads. And so final lineup now. We're approaching the final, within the final minute. And the teams, keeping in mind it's the start between the 2 yellow marks.
So you got everyone pretty much lining up there now. I think it's the Foodland that's coming in from the boat end. But everyone else is pretty much lining up onto that start line, and they'll be stopping their boats and waiting for the right. Okay, they're nearly all sheeting on now, and they're going.
Bang. We have an OCS, that is team number 4, the Cruising Yacht Club of South Australia, skippered by Robbie Doosan, and he's realised it and he's turning the boat around, heading back to the start, doing his 360. This style racing is under U flag, Mads. So what that means is if you are over, you do a 360.
Yeah. Instead of going back
keeping in mind you don't want to be right over, because it still is umpire's discretion. So tough gig for Cruising Yacht Club South Australia there. We can see Christie's in a commanding position coming across this side of the course. Be interested to see, and they have tacked across now. And we've got in boat number 2, Brighton 2, skippered by Sandy Higgins, out to the right-hand side of the course. And I'd expect they're going to pick up some nice little lines there, and wouldn't be surprised that they'll be in a very commanding position, keeping in mind that they'll be coming back on starboard.
Yeah, they're all looking, the breeze has filled in now, and yeah, they're all looking pretty hot. Sandy's just chucked in a tack.
So let's just run through the list of who we have out there. Boat number 1 is Port Lincoln. Boat number 2 is Brighton 2, skippered by Sandy Higgins. Boat, here's a little bit, something a little bit confusing. Boat number 6 is actually Largs Bay Sailing Club, who is in 3rd. Oh, and we have an incident. I wouldn't be surprised if there's flags up here.
There's a protest flag up there by number 2, so that's Brighton Seacliff. We'll wait for the jury to make a decision on that one. And against 5, Christie's.
That's a red flag to Christie's. They'll have to complete their turns. 360-degree turn. So this is what it's all about, Mads. Like, they're literally almost going to be on our laps in a minute. Sandy's going to come back. Brighton Seacliff Yacht Club is going to come back in a commanding position, hold that starboard hand advantage to get through this gate. Keep in mind, you're allowed to go, you come through the gate and you have to go around the ends of the gate.
Yeah, this is very tight racing here. You've got Ash Dyer and Sandy Higgins coming up to this top mark.
Port Lincoln Yacht Club ducking Brighton Seacliff there and trying to shoot the mark. Are they going to make it around?
You got Luke Stevens.
Very close. So Luke
very good tack there.
Luke's chosen the left-hand side, closely followed by Brighton Seacliff Yacht Club, rounding virtually at the same time as Port Lincoln Yacht Club, closely followed by Cruising Yacht Club of South Australia made a big, nice comeback after that being OCS in that first start.
And they've all jibed off, so they're all on the same jibe now. It's well Bicey, all on the port hand jibe, starboard hand jibe.
All on sail. I'm a bit worried about the boats coming right in close to the dock here. There's not going to be much breeze. They've all dropped their jibs, so it's going to help get that spinnaker around a lot easier. These boats sailing with asymmetric kites means that they have to take some pretty big angles coming downwind, especially in this weighted breeze. So it's as tactical downwind as it is up.
And for our listeners, Bicey, that might not know much about sailing, why are they dropping their jib on the downwind?
So on the downwind, if you leave the jib up, it's going to be in front of the spinnaker.
Yep.
So the breeze that is going to come down is not going to... The spinnaker is the fastest sail that they can put up at the moment. So they need as maximum amount of wind pressure into the spinnaker as they can. In much breezier stuff, you can afford to leave the jib up, but in this stuff, it's way better to get it down.
Yeah. Luke Stevens has jibed back across and coming back down there. He's looking like he's in a good position.
So, Largs Bay Sailing Club, skippered by Luke Stevens, is, I would say, in the leading position at the moment. They've got good pace down there, and I must say, though, they are falling into a bit of a hole, and we've got the team from Cruising Yacht Club South Australia and Brighton Seacliff coming in very closely. Same deal at the bottom here, Mads. We go through the gate, so you go in between and you turn either left or right around the yellow marks.
And it looks like they'll be going around the right-hand mark from what angle I'm at here, Bicey.
I'll tell you who's done extremely well there is Christie's. They've snuck down virtually untouched, and they're going to be getting around here in the same time as all the other boats.
Yeah, they've done a very good job there to catch up.
Wow, this is tight, Mads. Virtually a replication of what happened at the top mark. Two boats going either way, and there's Largs Bay Sailing Club just sneaking inside of Christie's Beach. Not to mention the old stalwarts of Robbie Doosan and Sandy Higgins, who are heading to the right-hand side of the course. Bit of a messy drop there with Port Lincoln Yacht Club, but they've finally just tucked it away now. Anything can happen here, Mads.
Sure can. We can see that the positions do change on that upwind, downwind legs, and Largs Bay Sailing Club just fell into a little bit of a hole there, and that's where we've got Port Lincoln on our screen now, and you've got Ash Dyer on the helm. Have you done any sailing with Ash or just with Dipper?
I was fortunate enough to come up under the guidance of Andy Dyer. I didn't learn all his tricks, but has certainly learned plenty of them and certainly had enough banter. So a very strong team from one of the friendliest clubs in, well, I'm a little bit biased. It's one of the greatest clubs in, country clubs in Australia, Port Lincoln Yacht Club, having spent many a time there, whether it was as a young fella sleeping under the tables or enjoying a few in the Port Lincoln, Adelaide Port Lincoln yacht race.
So we're coming up to the top marks for the second lap, so they'll just go around the top marks and back down to the finish, and that'll be the first heat.
It's a good left-hander there by Cruising Yacht Club of South Australia, which ultimately means they're tacking onto a bit of a knock, but this breeze can go anywhere. And I'm going to say we're bow on bow, Cruising Yacht Club of South Australia and Brighton Seacliff Team 2. Luke Stevens he is going to sneak up around the inside here at the top left-hand mark also. Fair to say, Mads, it is tight. It is very tight. Jibe set for Cruising Yacht Club of South Australia. And here we go. Largs Bay Sailing Club going around. Slow hoist for Brighton Seacliff Yacht Club.
And it's all to play for here, isn't it, Bicey? That anyone could win this right now. It's all about picking that shift and where to go.
Yeah.
Brighton have finally got it under control.
Commanding position by Robbie Doosan, Cruising Yacht Club of South Australia there. They've got good breeze. Looks as though all the way down. I'm a little concerned Largs Bay Sailing Club here are just getting a bit sucked into this wharf, and they're going to run out of a bit of breeze. Well, maybe they've just gone over to get a bit of banter from the crowd.
Yeah, it's been happening all day there. That bit of wind drop in that wharf there, Bicey. Didn't happen too much last night, but I think it's happening a bit more today, so it's something they need to be wary of.
So, keeping in mind, it's the first to 3 wins. They walk away with the trophy. So, if you're second or fifth, it doesn't matter. It's the first to 3 wins. So, you know, this whole thing could be over in 3 races, but knowing who we've got out here, I bet you it's not.
I don't think so, but we'll see how we go. People could get a couple of good races in, but you know, we could be here for, like you said, 3 hours, so it's all here to play for.
Beautiful. So similar to the start, the finish is in between the 2 yellow marks. We can see a different technique here on Brighton 2, is it? Yeah, they're winging out the asymmetric. I haven't seen this. I have not seen this previously, but they are
seem to work,
coming into the finish now. CYC SA on port. The red spinnakers hold the starboard advantage, and they've put their bow down, and they take first blood. Cruising Yacht Club of South Australia, Robbie Doosan and his crew. Congratulations to them.
I couldn't pick the second, third there, but Snook came in there 4th, I think.
That is tight racing.
That was.
All 5 boats over within 20 seconds.
That's the tightest racing we've seen in the past 2 days. It shows that we really do have the best out there, Bicey. The best of the best.
A sigh of relief, I'm guessing, from the Cruising Yacht Club of South Australia. And they'll be very happy with how that's gone. They've shaken the nerves. And what we do want to do is we'll try and make our way down onto the water. Hopefully no tech difficulties this time round, and really find out how it's gone.
Yeah, Sean will be talking to the winning boat, so CYC SA. And here we are to ask them how the race went, how they thought it went.
So a little wipe, a little bit of sweat off the brow, but and let's make our way down to the water with our roaming on the water reporter, Sean Keane.
And we're just here with Robbie Doosan, winner from CYC SA. Robbie, good comeback.
Yeah, well, having a penalty at the start was a bit of a hassle, but you're always in with a chance with this type of racing, and we were just able to pick our way through and got lucky in a few instances. But in this sort of racing, when you have to get 3 wins, you have to go for it, because second doesn't matter. So we'll be going for it as much as we can, if you know what I mean.
Going for it, but staying behind the start line. Yeah, thanks for that, Rob. Great first start there. Race, yeah, looking forward to the second race. Box.
So, Robbie Doosan, first blood. Keeping in mind he was over OCS in that race, so a fantastic comeback.
Yeah, so he had to pick up the pieces there, but he really did put it back out on the table and played for it, so it's awesome. And we've just got comms that his mate Tim from Singapore is watching us live stream, so shout out to Tim, coming in hot all the way from Singapore, so that's awesome to see that people are looking at the live stream. I know I've got a couple people watching from home, which is awesome, shout out to them, but yeah, no, it's awesome to be able to put this on the big screen and show people that can't be here what's happening, and yeah, everyone's always asking us the results of things, and this is how they're going to get them.
Absolutely, and just for those ones at home, feel free to share. Press that share button, get it out there. We love this type of racing, and the more support that we can go to, the better. And rolling into 3 minutes now, as mentioned, it's just back to back. So physically hard, mentally hard, and the winner wants to do it in 3 straight. Yeah. Do you think CYC have that ability?
Yeah, well, like you said, Robbie's got the skill. He's got the experience, that's for sure. I've never sailed with him, but I've heard big things about the big German. So, yeah, that's what my father would call him. But yeah, I think that the team he's got is really strong, and they've had that time on the Elliott Sevens, which a lot of people haven't had as much time as they've had on the Elliott Sevens. They did a sprint series a couple of weeks ago, I believe. So yeah, they've got their head around the boat a bit more. So that advantage really can put them a bit more in front of others. And yeah, we'll see how it comes to play. I think if they get this second one away, then there'll be a lot of pressure on, and you know there might be a bit more of that match racing argy-bargy, but you know, we'll see.
1 minute 50 to go now. Be interested to see. My gut feeling was this side of the course, the left-hand side of the course looking upwind, probably not as advantageous just due to those lighter airs, but just playing that pressure. And I can see some nice little bullet shooting down from the top mark, probably from the middle right of the course. 1 minute 30. We're just getting an eye in the sky now to check out what is exactly happening here. Now, all right, this is almost final approach, 1 minute 10.
So everyone was pretty even along the start line for the first heat, Barcy, so it'll be interesting to see if anyone takes advantage of this left-hand side of the course, or if they'll just play it safe and get a good start with some clear air.
Was it a little nerves for Robbie Doosan in the first race, and now he's settled? Who knows? Or is this going to up the ante? 45 seconds.
Everyone will be looking at their last tack and getting their line on the line.
All right, 30 seconds now. Into the final 30. Everyone's almost on their last approach. "15 seconds and final approach." And here we go. Port Lincoln Yacht Club is low of the line. This is interesting.
Yeah. They've got 2 seconds and they're racing.
Port tack start by Port Lincoln Yacht Club, and it's clear. They have done very well there. Nice little left-hand shift right on the start there, Matt.
Yeah. Wonder if, I'm thinking now, I wonder if Ash did that on purpose, but I have seen her do a couple of port hand starts, so maybe.
Iconic in yachting world is a port tack start, and if you ever pull it off, it is one of the most satisfying starts one could do.
Be interesting to see if Foodland which is Christie's Beach, stay out, punch out a bit further than everyone else. No one's really taking it to the left-hand side too much, playing it safe up the middle.
Port Lincoln Yacht Club looks strong here. Followed closely by Cruising Yacht Club of South Australia. That'd be the top two at the moment. And then looking across the fleet, boat number 2 is Brighton and Seacliff Yacht Club, skippered by Sandy Higgins, who will hold that starboard advantage again. It's almost carbon copy of what he did in the first race. Then, so following Brighton Seacliff now, Port Lincoln Yacht Club still holding that advantage after that port tack start. They look as though they'll lead around the first mark. Remembering again that it's a gate, so you go through the gate and around the ends of these orange markers.
Yeah, and will we see the fleet split in half like we did last race? Or do you think they'll play it safe and try and go to the same mark? Looks like number 1 is going to come to this left-hand mark.
All right. So we've got Luke Stevens slowly luffing, trying to force Cruising Yacht Club of South Australia to tack. He'll only tack right at the last minute to leave Largs Bay Sailing Club out on a limb there. And he'll try and get around there without the overlap.
Got Ash Dye coming around that top mark in first.
Port Lincoln Yacht Club, jibe set. Largs Bay Sailing Club did very well there to sneak inside Cruising Yacht Club of South Australia. And again, it is tight. It is tight. Good set by Port Lincoln Yacht Club. Right, Brighton Seacliff Yacht Club on the right-hand side going down. Port Lincoln, I've noticed they've got the bow down a little bit there, Mads. They're probably extending, if anything, which is what they want to do. Try and give themselves a bit of breathing space. Try and let the other teams fight it out amongst themselves. Keeping in mind, a second or fifth, it doesn't matter. They're all racing for the win.
Yeah, so we've got Brighton Seacliff that's just jibed over. The only person that went on the right-hand side of the course, and Ash has extended her lead by a mile. They were so close around that top mark, so yeah, she's definitely done the right thing, having that bow down a bit more and soaking it.
Brighton and Seacliff finally back on.
Stop me from drinking piss too early. So, but hey, now we're on. But now.
All right, so there's a little bit of a lefty there coming into the bottom. So the boats that were up above the Port Lincoln Yacht Club are probably going to sneak down there a little bit now. And is it the Cruising Yacht Club of South Australia, who is basically coming in port starboard at Port Lincoln Yacht Club? All right, Cruising Yacht Club of South Australia, current leaders on the scoreboard, heading around that right-hand mark. Quite a slow rounding by the CYC, so I wouldn't be surprised if the guys who are heading left upwind.
Yeah, and Luke's still got his. Is that Luke or is that Ash that's still got her kite in the water there? It's a bit of a slow one there, but they're all going back up to the top mark and they're all in for it. CYC's in a good position.
Plenty of pressure for CYCSA here, and they've also got their bow up compared to the guys that went left. So nice consistent breeze there, as opposed to it's a little bit patchier again on this side of the course. Just mentioning how these boats. It's just not a coincidence that these boats have made it out onto the water in the form they are. And to do that, you need a great organisation and you need great sponsors as well. And that's what these boats do. And hats off to the Cruising Yacht Club of South Australia on finding those sponsors. There we have boat number 6, the Footers boat. Sponsored by a long-time and lifetime member, Graham Footer of the Cruising Yacht Club of South Australia. The Largs Bay Sailing Club has done very well there. They've held some good pace against Cruising Yacht Club of South Australia. And is this a replication of what happened at the first mark, but switched boats?
It looks like it will be, Barcy. Yeah, they're looking very tight there.
So Luke, Largs Bay Sailing Club will hold Cruising Yacht Club South Australia all the way out here and only tack at the very last minute. Hopefully, they can get around without getting an overlap, so they can get around the mark without CYCSA putting their bow in there.
Will he pull it
There
off?
is going to be
Unlike
a flag.
CYC didn't the first time. Here you go. That's Luke Stevens in boat number 6 for Largs Bay Sailing Club around the top mark first.
Oh, there's...
CYC following.
They're going to get around
And you've
the
got
front
Port
here.
Lincoln
And they have
coming
snuck
in.
around.
They've snuck around. Great boat handling from our competitors here.
Largs Bay Sailing Club.
In boat
The
number 6, even though it says 3 on the screen. Just a reminder.
Slimmest of leads to Largs Bay Sailing Club. So let's see what Cruising Yacht Club of South Australia can do down here. Are they going to continue all the way here and stop Largs Bay Sailing Club from jibing and try and hold that advantage into the finish?
Well, it's already looking like they're quite soaking it like they were doing before, Barcy, so I think Luke's gone pinching up a little bit more to search for some breeze, and now he's jiving over, so it's all about the positioning here.
Good jibe by Largs Bay Sailing Club. Current leaders, Cruising Yacht Club of South Australia, which will have them on 2 wins. Are you nervous, Mads?
I'm a little bit nervous, but I'm also, you know, I don't want this racing to end, so it'd be good to mix it up with a different win, but, you know, CYC are doing the right thing and they're being consistent without, you know,
Bad jibe.
got a bit going
Bad
on with
jibe,
this
Mads,
jibe
from
though,
Cruising Yacht Club of
so,
South Australia.
you know, I think this sees that Luke will actually give a little bit more now. And Luke's got that starboard
So it's
approach.
a port starboard.
Yeah. So Luke's just got to soak this down now. Or
Largs Bay Sailing Club look as though they're going all the way through to the finish now. Unless they get any wind shifts. It's a much better job by Cruising Yacht Club, South Australia. Pretty tricky, these shoots, as we mentioned earlier, Mads, to get them around without getting a wine glass.
yeah. You've really got to get your crews to pull it around on the other side.
Geez, it's close again.
It is close.
Largs Bay Sailing Club coming to the finish line and gone through, closely followed by the Cruising Yacht Club of South Australia. Well, it's definitely done what the brochure said, creating some close racing. Confirmed from the race committee, Largs Bay Sailing Club have won the race.
So that puts Largs Bay Sailing Club on 1 win and the CYCSA on 1 win also.
I wonder what the mind games are now. They're both sitting on 1 win. Do they concentrate on that boat? Do they just try and go clean? Do they? It's mentally it's going to be pretty tough as well how they do that.
Yeah, and you like as we said, everyone here could probably win one of the races. So I don't think it's up to them just to pick on one boat and cover them. I think, you know, everyone is for a play and this racing is tight.
Racing is tight. The crowd is building. We've got a lot of people everywhere now. This is fantastic. I haven't checked on the live stream how many people we are viewing, but again, for those who are watching, please share. Right, we're going to get roaming reporter in the rib, Greg Keane, father of Sean King. We've got Keane out there. I used to sail against Sean's father, so let's go down to Keane on the water.
Just let the jib off, please. Let the jib off.
Yeah, we're just here with Largs Bay Sailing Club skipper Luke Stevens. Luke, great win there. What do you think was the key?
Just keeping in touch all race, really, not doing anything silly. Sort of kept out of trouble most of the time, and had a good few opportunities to lock out at the top mark, and did that to keep Deuce behind, so it was good.
Now you've got 1 win on the board, are you going to change tactics at all or keep pushing aggressively?
Yeah, we'll keep start. I think you got to, if you're not first, you're last in this kind of racing, so we'll just keep pushing as hard as we can.
There you have it from Luke Stevens. It seems to be the tactic is aggression. Thanks. Back to you. Thanks, boys. Well done.
Largs Bay Sailing Club, Mads, they put a point on the board. There'll be some pretty happy people on that boat. But the professional Luke Stevens he'll just get his mind straight back into the game. So to get back out there, the breeze looks very similar to what we had. It's holding in, which is very positive to complete some more races. So just a little bit on the Largs Bay Sailing Club. It's actually an ex-club of mine, so I know it quite well. Founded in 1926, originally the Largs Bay Dinghy Club, and its founding commodore, believe it or not, is the great-grandfather of our one Harry Fisher.
Oh, I didn't know that.
So there's a bit of history there with Harry and the Largs Bay Sailing Club. They sail an array of classes, anything from the Optimus, 420s, International Cadets, and of course the ever-famous second best off-the-beach class in the world, Sharpies, along with Fireballs, Hartley TS16s, Contenders, Herons. There's a lot of classes out of Largs Bay Sailing Club. And not forgetting Luke, he was Largs Bay Sailing Club got through as the winner of qualifying Pool A last night. So it's no surprise we do see them with 1 point even score with Cruising Yacht Club South Australia.
And I think they're just having a bit of time to have a bit of a break, have a drink of water.
Yeah,
do the game
just
plan.
Having a look now, I think I can actually see we're into it here. So they're pretty happy to fire them off. Is our race officer, Malcolm Hughes.
Yeah, they went into that pretty fast, Bryce. They don't really give them much time. Quick interview and back into it. Short.
2 minutes
short
20.
And sharp.
Great to see some of my fellow yachties popping down, checking it out, giving me a little bit of a tease walking past with a Pims or something like that. 2 minutes to go.
Yeah, the crowd's definitely building around here, and even on that hill over there, Bicey, near the pub, there's a lot more people there than there was last night. So I think everyone's put themselves in a good opportunity to be there and, you know, have a couple of beers.
Fantastic family viewing over there with the lawn. So
and you can see a boat over there as well. I wonder if they're
Yeah.
stopping off and watching.
All right, 1 minute 30. Breeze actually looks quite reasonable, Mads. It's probably the most we've seen all day. So, to me, that means it's going to be pretty tricky. It's going to be flicking around all over the place. So let's see what happens with this start. One minute 10.
And we've got 1 minute now.
Right, finally into the last minute. Teams will be positioning themselves to take maximum advantage and to be able to do that, take that first manoeuvre. All right, Mads, 30 seconds to go. Who you got your eye on here?
Oh, well, Musto's lining up, which is Brighton Seacliff. They're lining up quite close to the boat end this time, so they're obviously wanting to go out to the right, unlike they were going out to the left in the previous race. So, yeah, I think it's all to play for here. Everyone's racking up to the line. Got 10 seconds to go.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, racing. Clear start from the race officer, Malcolm Hughes.
Christie's boat tacked off first.
I've got probably Largs Bay Sailing Club here in the commanding position, stopping the others from tacking. They've wound up quite nicely on the inside of Brighton and Seacliff and the Cruising Yacht Club of South Australia. Crossing ahead of both, well, Christie's and Port Lincoln Yacht Club crossed behind. Well, we can see those gusts coming down there, Mads. It's looking pretty fluky. They'll be thinking very hard on what the next manoeuvre is going to be.
Yeah, and Luke's just tacked over, and whether or not he saw a little bit of a breeze path or didn't want to get close to the wharf. Christie's is looking in a good position here too.
So, Mads, we're 40 minutes into the day. We're into the third race. This is different type of sailing. We haven't really seen sailing like this before. And to bring this type of racing to the shores of the inner port here in Port Adelaide is something very satisfying.
It is. And this racing is so close, so having those spectators being able to watch their friends and family on the water in such a good location, yeah, it's unbeatable.
So at the pointy end of the fleet, Cruising Yacht Club of South Australia look to be leading. Largs Bay Sailing Club sneaking up inside them. No love lost between these guys. They've been hard at it for quite a while now. All right, no overlap. So CYCSA will be getting around in first position. Closely followed by Largs Bay Sailing Club. It's going to come down to the manoeuvre here. Jibe set. Good set by Cruising Yacht Club. Good set by Largs. They're really starting to sail these boats very well.
You can see the progress as the day has gone on, can't you, Barcy?
Certainly can. CYC Largs Bay duking it out once more. Followed by Brighton Seacliff Yacht Club, Port Lincoln Yacht Club and Christie's. Port Lincoln Yacht Club got a nice little push coming down here. They'll get the bow down in a minute. It's a whole different kettle of fish, these guys. They jump out of whether it's a TP52 or whether it's a fireball or a Sharpie, but to learn the isms, the little mannerisms of these boats, it's a pretty hard task. And you get thrown straight into it. As mentioned, 40 minutes in, we're 3 races into the 3rd race already. So they just keep learning and learning. It's a big toll on the brain, for sure.
It definitely is, and as we've said before, there's people out here that only got introduced to these boats this morning. People that only got introduced last night, so yeah, it's definitely challenging on that old brain, but yeah, the best of the best, they can do it. You got Luke Stevens that's just jibed out.
Largs Bay Sailing Club, Cruising Yacht Club of South Australia, heading around in first. Puts them in a very commanding position. If they tack now, they've got a nice loose cover on the Largs Bay Sailing Club. They do have a slight spinnaker issue by the looks of it. Probably not terribly fast with that spinnaker stuck halfway up their jib like that. All right, we've got the camera on Largs Bay Sailing Club. They would be able to see they wouldn't be able to see that issue that Cruising Yacht Club's got with that spinnaker. I like the look of Largs here, Maddie.
They're looking good, and they've had a pretty clear run up to this top mark, so I think they're definitely in probably a better position than the CYC at the moment.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. They've got good pressure, good left-hand pressure for that fact. But there might be some more lefty coming, which would allow the CYC to sneak inside.
You can definitely see a clear extension and lead from the CYC and Largs Bay Sailing Club. They're very battling it out.
They definitely are duking it out. And let's not forget, this is for 2 points, 2 wins. So nothing will be left on this race course, especially in this race. All right, covering tack coming from Largs Bay Sailing Club. And here he goes. Any left-hand breeze will get CYC up there, but I doubt it at this close, at this point. Oh, here it is. That's the lefty that they wanted, but it's probably a little bit too late. Cruising Yacht Club's going to have to tack. They're tacking now. Are they going to go to the same mark? Largs Bay Sailing Club will be leading around this mark. Largs Bay Sailing Club, spinnaker goes straight to the top and sets beautifully. Good set. Good set by both boats. As mentioned, first to 3 wins, Maddie, and this is for 2 wins. When you got asked along here today, Maddie, what do you think was going to happen? Like, was it going to be close racing? Was there going to be crashes? Was it going to be boring? Has it been all of the above?
I don't think any of the racing has been boring, that's for sure.
I'll concur.
I thought there'd definitely be more crashes as there has been, but definitely the close racing. Like I said before, I couldn't pick who was going to happen, who was going to get it, but you know, we've got some pretty close racing here, and this shows that this 4th race is really going to show who's going to win this.
So, tactic here by Cruising Yacht Club is to do as many manoeuvres as they possibly can to try and force a mistake against Largs Bay Sailing Club. What it looks like, though, they're probably not far off the ley line. So, and they look in a relatively safe position, Largs Bay Sailing Club. Largs Bay Sailing Club, skippered by Luke Stevens, crewed by Ryan Kelly, Chev Brulon or Ward, and Ryan Huxgo are looking the goods. About to cross the finish line. That is 2 wins to Largs Bay Sailing Club, or shall we call it match point?
Sounds about right to me, Vicey. We've got CYC crossing over now. So this next race is definitely going to be a lot of heat on for Largs Bay Sailing Club to get this away. Will they have what it takes? We'll hear from them soon on board their boat, but yeah, it's definitely.
I wonder. Yeah, Largs Bay Sailing Club, 2 wins, match point. Can Largs Bay handle the pressure?
Yeah, and as a lot of the people on that boat would say, can they handle the heat? Luke and Ryan sail together quite regularly, so I think they've got what it takes to get this under the pressure. I'm not sure about Chev, what she's like under pressure. Have you done much sailing with Chev, Nick?
No, I haven't with Chev, but I certainly know between both Luke and Ryan, I mean, they've been in this position many times, whether it's during a national titles, which they'd had won or been part of, or whatever it might be. So they'll keep a cool head coming into this next race, because this could all be over very shortly. I doubt no one's going to let them off though, Mads.
No.
Not at all.
No, they're not. And wonder what you'd be thinking if you were CYC right now, Vicey. Would you be trying to knock out Luke before the start of the race, or?
No, I'd be keeping my nose clean.
Yeah.
It's pretty clear that both Luke and Robbie are sailing fast. So I'd be keeping my nose clean, try and get that clear start and working on what that first move is off of the start line to try and jump out there. But there's no doubt, even with the starts that we have seen, it's been super close at these top marks. And it's a great way to do it with these gates. So the boats can actually go alternate ways. And it just adds that extra little bit of tactical element, because you've got to think about what side do you want, and it might be a balance between what's closer or where the next move is, what has more breeze. So it's breeze is holding in. We have a beautiful day here in the inner port in Port Adelaide in Lipson Reach, around 30 degrees Celsius, so it's fantastic weather for it, and sitting around that 9 to 11 knot mark. So let's try and get some information from on the water, and let's cross down to Sean on the water with Chev. All right.
Okay, we've got a bit of audio technical difficulties on the water, so hopefully we can get that sorted out, and then we'll get into this I shouldn't say last race, into this next race, and they'll be on their match point.
Time of day, Mads, we're at 4:50. This is the most breeze I've seen. Hoping it sticks around, because traditionally the sea breeze at around this time of day would start dying, and we're getting yes, we are a little bit inland, but we are getting the effects of the sea breeze. And I'll tell you what, it's been a breezy summer. Seems as like it's been 20 knots every single day. So this is good going. We enjoy what we're seeing. We love the fact that the wind is sticking in, and we like that we've got that 9 to 11 mark, because it really puts the best against the best, and it really does. We are going to end up with the best sailor in the state winning this regatta.
Yeah, you're not wrong there, Vicey, and like we said before, I think a lot of these other guys that are out there sailing at the moment, they know that they could put this next one away. They've won races today. They know that they're up there with these sailors. Everyone out there is a chance to get a point on the scoreboard. So it's just, if they can get their head around it, wrap their head around it and put it away. I think it's looking like we're not having much audio, so we're probably going to be going into a start soon.
Let's go back down to the water. Let's go back down to our mate Sean Keane on the water with the crew from Largs Bay Sailing Club.
Okay, we've still got technical difficulties, so we're just going to go back into the racing, we think. We already have heard from the Largs Bay Sailing Club before, so yeah, we'll just take this time to get back into the next race, hey?
Yep. Not only us get back into it, but all the teams get back into it as well. The race officer, Malcolm Hughes, is about to roll into the next warning signal, which is, again, 3 minutes. You'll notice the flags on the boat, 3, 2, 1, just to make it a little more spectator-friendly. So, and that works. The crowd, I'm really impressed by the crowds down here. This is fantastic. The assistants out on the water, let's not forget, nothing happens without the umpires as well. And our chief umpire, Wayne Thompson, is keeping an eye on things. Fortunately, he hasn't had to pull out the flag too often. Yep. He's got it out a couple of times. But have you been on the wrong end of a red flag every now and then, Mads? Yeah. Did you, in your time in Tasmania in the Elliott Sixes, was it match racing or was it the fleet racing, the style that we're seeing here?
Yeah, so it was match racing. So it was 2 versus 2 in the 2K. So they do, Elliott Sixes. So they've got 2 boats versus 2 boats. And yeah, it's very heated match racing style. And yeah, I've done team sailing for quite some years now and did a couple of uni games campaigns as well. So yeah, putting that experience into those match racing, really paid off. And I was joined by a lot of awesome sailors in Tassie. So, definitely the match racing style more than the fleet racing style in these bigger boats that is happening down here.
What and could you see some obvious pathways through or the opportunities that came out of that program and see people going through into bigger boats? Did it create that stepping stone?
Yeah, so it did. So basically people just hit up people around the sailing club. Do you want to get into my team? And it was very much who you know, what you know basis. But for me, I've only done a couple of overnight races, but in the bigger boats, but didn't really get that much. We're just going to go on to the race course now.
Yeah, going back to the race course.
And less than a minute ago.
We're within a minute to the start here. So everyone will be thinking about how they're going to position themselves. And you'll notice a lot of the boats start what traditionally called the pin end. Traditionally down towards this pin end.
That's 1 minute now.
So they can position themselves on that final approach so they can get into that commanding position. But the funny thing is, everyone wants to start in the same area. So how much do you back yourself?
That's right, Bicey. And we've probably only got like 30 seconds to go now. So everyone's coming up to the last minute on the start line and they're still approaching the start line. They've obviously noticed the increase in breeze and they know that they've got a bit more time to get there. You've got CYC close to the boat end. Can't spot Luke at the moment.
All right, so final seconds now coming into it. CYC SA. Largs Bay Sailing Club's clear start. So Brighton and Seacliff, I would say, would have won that start, and they've pushed off the CYC, forced them to tack. Great pressure now, Mads, coming down the course.
It's definitely held in as well, Barcy.
I think what happened there, Mads, is we had an over at the start. According to the rules, if you are over, you need to, and you get flagged by the umpires, you do a 360.
Yeah. So instead of going back around the start line, you just go do a 360 and get back into the race.
So our old battlers at it again. Cruising Yacht Club of South Australia, Largs Bay Sailing Club.
They like this position coming into the top mark. Largs Bay is really pinching it to get there before them.
Cruising Yacht Club of South Australia, of course, is the owners of these boats, the Elliott 7s that are being sailed here. Cruising Yacht Club, 1,200 members. Incorporated in 1973, and they have a lot of initiatives down at the CYC, the Marine Academy, the Youth Sailing Foundation, and is this going to be something on their letterhead also? I haven't looked back on the data yet, Matty, but I believe CYC, Largs Bay Sailing Club, have been around the top mark within 5 seconds of each other every single time.
Yeah, I think you'd be about right there now, Barcy.
And this will be the same again.
They're going to the other mark, looks like.
Or Largs Bay Sailing Club, will they sneak inside? Definitely inside. There's definitely an overlap. And Largs Bay Sailing Club, jibe set. It seems and we've got this is on Brighton and Seacliff coming through, so they both had to put the bow up to get around the top of them.
And this is awesome racing.
Just a reminder for everyone viewing, boat number 6 out there, Largs Bay Sailing Club, is actually number 3. They've had a bad jibe there, can't get the chute around. Chute's now set. All right, another good jibe by CYC, SA, and Largs Bay Sailing Club have gone back to take this starboard advantage. Looks as though they've just snuck ahead, a couple of boat lengths. It's interesting to see the boats that rounded later have managed to get their bow down and catch right up to these guys. Are you nervous, Largs Bay Sailing Club, right now, Mads? You're on the it's match point. You're currently leading after the first lap. Is he going to hold on to it?
I think he will, but look, CYC's caught up again here, so I really can't pick it. But yeah, I'm nervous for them. I'm not nervous right now, but yeah, we'll see. I think it all comes down to that boat handling, as we saw at that top mark. Getting around that top mark.
All right, this needs to be clean.
Needs to be clean.
Port Lincoln Yacht Club opting for the opposite side. All right, literally, it's like synchronised sailing here. Largs Bay Sailing Club, Port Lincoln Yacht Club, rounding the bottom gate virtually at the same time. Largs Bay Sailing Club has tacked across now. I don't mind where Largs Bay Sailing Club is.
I think they're in a good position.
I think...
And that side of the course is paid for them every time.
I think Luke will just position himself nicely here between the mark and the CYCSA, of which he's done. Port Lincoln Yacht Club tacking back to try and get across on the CYC, or at least port starboard. This is playing into the hands of Largs Bay Sailing Club perfectly here. If Port Lincoln Yacht Club and the CYC can start messing around a little bit, that'll allow Largs Bay to extend their lead. Reminder of the leaders board. We have Largs Bay Sailing Club on 2 points, Cruising Yacht Club South Australia on 1 point. Current leader of the race, probably about 6 minutes to, even less, 5 minutes to the finish, is Largs Bay Sailing Club. And if they hold this position, they will win the SA Sailing League. I've just popped my head up over the van here, Mads. We've got a lot of people watching. We have my good friend Jesse Mitten on the other microphone, keeping the crowd entertained. All right, here we go.
Otherwise known as Messy Jesse.
This is where we're at. Largs Bay Sailing Club, probably the biggest lead that they've held throughout the day at this point in time. All right. Oh. Good left-hander to Team 4, Cruising Yacht Club South Australia. Here we go. Largs Bay Sailing Club currently in... Oh, there's going to be a crash. And... Oh... Port Lincoln Yacht Club, CYCSA have messed it up. And that has literally put the win in the hands of Largs Bay Sailing Club. Green flag, but that's allowed Largs Bay Sailing Club, who are currently on match point, to extend their lead by another 15 seconds or so. Barring any disaster, and I'd hate to give it the commentator's curse here, Mads. They look to be, they're going to walk away with this.
They're in a good position here, and that altercation at the top mark really put them in that extended lead. They're in an awesome position right now. I think no one would be smiling on that boat yet, though.
No,
there'd be a lot
definitely
of
not yet. There'll be a lot of tests, a lot of checks, a lot of turning your head over the shoulder. So probably slightly above the ley line to get into the finish, so there's still a couple of manoeuvres to go. So it's not all plain sailing just yet.
Okay, they're thinking about a jibe now.
All right. Cruising Yacht Club have jibed, so that's forcing, not necessarily forcing, but the Largs Bay Sailing Club just want to remain and hold that commanding position. Right, good little header there, Largs Bay Sailing Club, going into the finish line. Just want to catch themselves that they don't go too light. And this is it for the SA Sailing League winners coming across the line, Largs Bay Sailing Club. High fives all round, hugs, they love it. They've done it, and they've done it in commanding fashion. Well done, Largs Bay Sailing Club.
And that's in 4 races. Good job, Largs Bay Sailing Club. You've absolutely smashed that. I think they're very happy with that.
Truly sudden death. 3 wins gets it. 3 wins gets the win, and they have it. Big smiles all round. Looking forward to celebrating with this team later tonight. They've sailed very well. And we've wrapped this up, Mads, in 1 hour, 10 minutes. big shout out to all the volunteers that have helped with this event. Big shout out to all the people that have been involved in the event, from the competitors to the supporters to people who are down here on the dock. We are going to go down to the water very soon with the winners of the inaugural SA Sailing League.
So all the boats will be heading in now, and we've got a big celebration over on the Largs boat.
Big celebration planned. And let's try and get down to the water now. Let's take a look. Have we got him on board? We do. We have Keeney on board. So over to you, Keeney, on board.
And we're here with Luke Stevens, the winner for Largs Bay Sailing Club of the SA Sailing League. Luke, how does that feel?
Pretty good, yeah. It's obviously pretty much all the top yachties here from SA coming out on top. Crew work was one of the main things in the last few races there.
Just need someone to get
sort of like you said before the race, we had a bit of a debrief and a bit of a brief on what we were going to do, and it all panned out.
And you've got the inter-club rivalry and sometimes a personal rivalry there with Robbie Doosan. Bet it feels good to get that one over?
Yeah, I still got him after the Sharpie Nationals, so still got the wood on him. It's always good.
Yeah, beautiful. Love it. Moving on to you, Ryan. Ryan, how does that? You know, moving from mostly Sharpie sailing and fireball sailing to Elliott 7, how'd you find the transition?
Yeah, no, it was really good. Not having done much of this stuff for a while. Obviously did team sailing with Snook back in the day, but a really good initiative, and shout out to Harry and the team. It's been amazing. Really good fun.
Bet it's always fun to sail with one of your good mates and the new best mates as well.
Yeah, that's right. We just all met on Friday night, so pretty much just stand in front of Snook and do what he tells me to do. All goes well.
Yeah, beautiful. Moving forward again to Chev. Chev, we missed you on the last interview. Talk us through that one.
Yeah, look, this was heaps of fun. I think we were pretty confident as a team in our manoeuvres, and we felt like we just had to keep all that nice and clean to give Luke the opportunity to do what he does best, and it paid off for us, so really happy.
Yeah, sure. I noticed through the jibes, you guys looked like one of the better jibing boats. What do you think was the key, or technically what were you guys doing in the boat that helped with that?
Well, I think we had a bit of a debrief this morning after yesterday. It was a bit heavier wind yesterday, but we had to think about what we could do better to make those drives cleaner, and we executed that today, so that was really good. And look, having a bit of sports boat experience, both Luke and myself in the Meldress 24s, that helped as well, I think.
Yeah, for sure. Great. We'll move on to Ryan here. Ryan, having done heaps of sailing and sort of sports boats and everything, sort of the young buck on the boat, how'd you find sailing with some pretty top sailors?
I learned heaps. It was awesome. Best experience I've ever had, I reckon.
Yeah, beautiful. How great's that? That's what a SA Sailing League's all about. So next year, you're definitely coming back?
Yeah, for sure. 100%.
Make sure you get your Largs membership paid for. All right, so just working around the boat still. So sailing in now, what's the difference with these boats? You know, what makes them go fast?
Oh, look, it's been a long time since I've been on an Elliott. About 20 years ago, I sailed on an Elliott 6. No, these are great little boats. My first time on the CYCSA's fleet, and I'm sure we'll be back. They're good fun.
Yeah, beautiful. CYC, very, very kind of them to donate the boats. Pretty windy yesterday. Luckily, there wasn't any damage, I guess.
Yeah, I think Dale, the fleet manager, I think he was pretty happy that the boats had come out of this unscathed. But I think we're all pretty careful that to respect the boats and make sure that they can be there to be used for a long time in the future.
Yeah, for sure. And with you, Lukey, sailing these boats, you sailed a lot now. What do you think the next challenge is going to be?
No idea. I guess we're going to Newcastle, or it's in the calendar now, I guess. But, hopefully get out and, if it all works with all our calendars, hopefully get out there and, challenge the best in Australia, Asia Pacific if it's all on.
Yeah, sure. I haven't researched into it, but are you allowed to train for Newcastle, or is it sort of similar format?
Similar format, but I reckon Plug will give us a bit of time on the boats.
Yeah, sure. He's good like that, Plug. So sailing in, conditions-wise, what do you think was the key conditions, or what were you focusing on weather-wise?
Sort of after the first race, we tried to start near the top of the line, and I think that helped sort of set you up. We wanted to try and get right, so we could tack under the fleet and get right of the fleet. And even on the downwinds, we sort of tried to set up on that side too. The breeze just sort of funneled out near the Birkenhead there, so I think that helped a fair few times for us.
Yeah, sure. I think we're going to have to tack to get in the dock. You want to talk us through a tack?
Yeah, right. Yeah, just push the tiller away.
And there you go, a bit of expert comments from the champion Luke Stevens.
Go do a bit of a sail by, eh?
Yeah, we'll go to a sail by. Big crowd on the dock. Ryan, big crowd on the dock. Plenty of people to come and see you out here sailing. How does it feel to have a big crowd supporting you?
Yeah, it's unreal. Good to see a few familiar faces out there, but if they could chuck us a beer next time, that'd be much appreciated.
Well, I think we can organise that. There's plenty on the deck. Jesse's been here since 9 a.m, so Esky's probably empty, to be honest. Yeah. So just pulling in. If you were to give a piece of advice, to anybody coming in and jumping into these boats, what do you think it would be?
I think just pre-plan your manoeuvres. I think manoeuvres are probably make or break in these things when you're doing so many in this short course. So I think that's what it really comes down to.
Yeah, sure. So we're just doing a sail by along the wharf here. We'll just let the Largs Bay team soak in the audience. SA Sailing League champions. So we'll sail along, give a wave to the crowd. Really enjoy the great atmosphere that's here in the inner harbour. Lots of people have turned out to watch, so it's really good to support them. Really nice sailing on the water. Really tight racing. A lot of vocals, a lot of heat at the top mark, especially between Robbie and Luke there. So yeah, it was good. Good for Largs to get the job done. But overall, it's just great to have a really good fleet on the water. A lot of good sailors and the best SA has to offer, really. So yeah, fantastic. Well, I think we'll keep rolling in here with Luke, with the champions as they continue to celebrate. Might get a bit tricky here coming into the wharf, but that's all right. We'll manage that. We've got a couple of extra hands, so we'll be able to go it. Yeah, just moving forward to Ryan. So Ryan, what do you think your plans are with sailing now?
Definitely going to pursue in this boat. Hopefully Newcastle.
Yeah, for sure. So what are you doing with sailing at the moment?
Not a lot really. Just taking a bit of a gap year at the moment, but soon to get back into it. Definitely now.
Yeah, sure. So Largs Bay Sailing Club, obviously really happy with that. We're just going to go back to commentary. Yeah, thanks for having us, Largs Bay. We'll check in once we've got this boat sorted out. Back to you in the commentary box.
Great stuff there, Keeney, and exciting times. People on board must be absolutely amped, and do not go anywhere because we got something special coming up. We're going to have the winning team up here on the dock, not before some frivolous fun, I would imagine, down on the dock.
Yeah, I can imagine everyone will be getting around them and getting them wet. Mate, Jack will go back on there.
I've got
we'll
a prediction. They're
Yeah.
going to be wet by the time they get up here.
Yeah, and they'll get even more wet when they get up here as well. Yeah, no, it's good. They'll be very excited. Yeah, Snook went home early last night, had a couple of beers.
I must say, we did have a couple last night, and Snook was very well behaved.
He was.
He definitely brought his game face today, and it's proven the winning formula. So if he's learnt anything, he knows how it goes.
Yeah, no, he's definitely got that game plan down pack. Yeah, no, he's going to be one very happy man.
Absolutely. So congratulations, Largs Bay Sailing Club. Not to mention also congratulations, Cruising Yacht Club of South Australia. Brighton 2 team skippered by Sandy Higgins. Christie's Sailing Club, and of course, Port Lincoln Yacht Club skippered by Ash Dye.
Yeah. And of course, the other teams that competed that didn't make it.
That's
We've got
right.
Adelaide Sailing Club, Brighton Seacliff Team 1,
Lake Bonnie,
and
Royal South
the
Australian
Royal
Yacht
South
Squadron.
Yeah. So thanks to those teams that came out and made the effort, all the clubs that supported them to come down. Yeah, it's awesome.
Okay, so whilst we got Keeney down on the dock, let's get him with what we'll call runner-up, Robbie Doosan. Over to you, Keeney.
So we're just down here on the wharf with Robbie Doosan. Robbie, so close, but so far, I guess.
The young blokes were just a little bit better, a bit more finesse. We just had a few stuff-ups where we didn't need to, and they didn't look like they put a foot wrong. But we put ourselves in with a chance every race. So even when we were over the line that start, I mean, you just got to plug away. So hopefully, we all learnt sort of lessons from it, like every day you go sailing.
Yeah, of course. So if you had your time again, what do you think you would change? Maybe crew-wise, or not crew-wise? I mean, processes on the boat.
Training. Yeah, pretty well. It's just training. So this is the first time we all sail together. So it's difficult. Especially in a fleet like that. So, but we sailed really well, apart from those one stuff up every race that cost us. So we had, I think we led every race, but so did Luke.
So one of your strengths as well on the course was starting. So what sort of process do you have for that?
Oh, it's time on distance, all the time pretty well. And I like to keep my distance from anyone, to weather of anyone. And if I can hook up underneath anyone, I will, as long as I'm going the favoured way, as much as possible. You're never going to get it all right. So I just try to do the process and get as many things right as we can. So and that starts from cleaning the boat up in a jibe, cleaning the boat up in a set, in a drop, at the start. Everything's a process.
For sure. And see what, will they be back with the team next year? You'll join the team next year?
Be a bit weird if they supply the boats and don't. But I want to thank the CYC too. They've been exceptional getting these boats and allowing us to sail for them. And I think the whole state will gain a lot from these boats. So thanks to CYC and all the members and everyone else there. Thanks a lot. And well done, Luke and his crew.
Beautiful. There you have it. Thanks to Robbie Doosan for talking with us there. We'll keep moving around the wharf. We'll try to catch a little bit from each boat. Great day's racing, as I said before, on the water. We'll just bump around into Ash here. Ash rolling the sails at the moment. Sorry to catch her. How'd you go? How'd you find that?
Yeah, it's hard work. Heaps different to a laser, that's for sure. Actually, I have to talk to people. Nah, it's good. I really enjoyed it. It's great having, the best sailors in SA all on the same track. You learn heaps, and yeah, it was really, really good.
Yeah, for sure. So with the people that were winning, what do you think? What do you sort of think were the keys for them there?
Fritz has plenty of years, and Snook's just, he's unreal. So good on him for the win, and it's really good to learn from the best, because I don't usually sail against these guys. So it's a real honour to sail with them.
Yeah, for sure. Thanks for that, Ash. Yeah, there's Ash there. Ash makes a really good point, actually. This is going to be such a great event for the state. All the top, of course, these are the top yachties there, but if you can get kids like Rhino, Ash on board, who doesn't normally sail with these people, and continue to sail in this top level talent in a tight race course, the fleet's only going to get better and better. We'll just pop over with the Bink Marine Hats and Brighton crew. Marshy, can I grab you for a second? Marshy, how'd you find today?
Oh, hard going in the afternoon. Big day today. So, yeah, we're a bit off the pace with that one, unfortunately, but well done to Luke and the boys. They did a great job.
Yeah, for sure. So you find the morning session sort of fatigue into the afternoon as well?
Oh, maybe a little bit, but geez, we just need to sail these boats a bit more and get our crew work a bit better. I think that's where we missed out a little bit as well. So, yeah. No, it was good fun though.
Yeah.
Had a good day.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. You guys will be back next year, Brighton with the team?
Oh, yeah, for sure. Yep, 2 teams.
Yeah. 2 again. There you go. Thanks for that, Marshy. And again, so really what we're getting from every boat at the moment is crew work. So crew work, we said it before the race, and all the first 3 people we've interviewed from different boats have spoken about crew work. So we'll keep going along the deck. We've got Larg's boat there. We've spoken to them already. We'll try to go over to the Christie's Beach boat, who, maybe surprised a few on the dock. They weren't, not normal coastal sailors and sort of keep to themselves in the VX1 a bit. But we'll go talk to them just quickly and see how they found the experience. So, Chris, we'll just have a quick chat with you if that's okay.
Yeah, no worries.
How'd you find today?
I was pretty stoked with how we went actually. Probably come in as the underdogs, not really well known at all, but I'm stoked. We probably definitely exceeded our expectations. It was good. I'm not sure we finished up. I don't know, maybe snuck in for 4th or something. But,
I think you're around 4th. You had a really, really good morning session.
Yeah.
Obviously, top sailors in the afternoon, but you held your own. How'd you find, or what do you think were the keys to sailing this boat?
Well, definitely probably more time on these types of boats definitely helps, and I guess the crews that sail together often or have done in the past probably really shone through today. It's not much else to say really. It was a good day out.
Yeah, for sure. So Christie's Beach, really happy to have you here. Do you reckon hopefully pull together a team for next year as well?
Oh yeah, definitely. This is good fun, and definitely put our hands up again, that's for sure.
Yeah, for sure. Thanks for that, Chris. Thanks for your time. So there you go again. 3 key points: the time on water, practicing with the regular crew, and the enjoyment of it. Everyone's been saying that it's great event, a lot of fun in Port Adelaide Inner Harbour, and really good for the town of Port Harbour. Oh, we've got our director over here, Harry Fisher. Harry, running the event. You've had lots of positive feedback from the sailors so far. How do you think the event ran from a director's point of view?
Oh, look, it's fantastic, Sean. I mean, you know, you don't know what you're getting yourself into when you put these events on. I've seen what Mark Turnbull has done with the Asia Pacific event and basically just trying to replicate that. I mean, you know, the concept of league sailing is fantastic. Seeing this sort of stuff in the heart of a stadium environment like this, seeing the best sailors go toe-to-toe. I mean, just look at the names. We've got Luke Stevens, Robbie Doosan, Ash Dyer, you know, the list goes on. And, you know, without these sorts of sailors, you know, this event doesn't happen. But you talk to them as well at the bar and they're like, no, we want to race in here. We want the fluky conditions. We want the challenges. And I think it's just an incredible thing for South Australian sailing to have this, and I'd love to see more of it. So yeah, look, we'll keep it rolling. We'll try and keep events like this happening, and the support of the Port Adelaide Council is essentially what's made this happen. So, you know, we'll just keep it going and hope for the best.
For sure. I know the council's been a great support for you, and I know you've got big plans on the horizon. Can you just talk us through some of those plans, maybe not next year, but maybe the year after, or what you hope, the vision for the future of this?
Yeah, well, I mean, it all started with Nick Bice and I sort of opening up some of these conversations with the Port Adelaide Council around activating this space. I mean, not just the waterway, but the entire inner port, all of the businesses here, you know, really trying to make the port thrive. Everyone talks about the port, that it's about to boom. And, you know, it's really nearly at that point. And I think with all the job stuff going on around here, with shipbuilding and whatnot else, you know, we just need to start bringing sporting events and attractions to the inner port. To just get more and more people down here, which is just, you know, what the council wants. It's what we want, and yeah, it's going to be good. Anyway, probably due for a prezzo.
No worries. Thanks for that, Harry Fisher, the director of this amazing event that everyone's been really positive about. Very happy. Sailors very happy. So back to you in the commentary box.
Jack's gonna put his camera there. What?
Yep. We got enough cable?
Would you like me to say something, Harry? There we go. Good. Just getting some batteries fired up with all the cameras, because we're still going to be running this live.
You haven't got his up though. Yep.
Largs Bay Sailing Club just being told how to walk to look cool and groovy. Rightio. Bring them down, Lukey. Here they come, Largs Bay Sailing Club. Winners of the inaugural SA Sailing League. Took it out probably quicker than you would have thought, only in 4 races to gather their 3. I'm pretty sure he could have chucked a hanky over both CYC and Largs Bay Sailing Club at every top mark. All right, guys, let's give it up for Luke Stevens and his team from Largs Bay Sailing Club. Congratulations, Luke. I guess you know what's going to happen here, right? Before we do get into that, just want to do a massive shout out to everyone that helped get this regatta or the Sailing League off the ground. All the volunteers, everyone that came down, all the officials, especially to Wayne and Malcolm and your teams. You did a fantastic job. All the media guys, really good job. And nothing like this happens without the support of, I've mentioned it a few times now, but the Port Adelaide Enfield Council. So can we just put our hands together for those, please?
Yeah!
We're joined here today by Councillor Adrian Mott, also a member of the CYC, to present the winner of the inaugural SA Sailing League. And Adrian, put this in your hands. Careful, as is, oh, it might be plastic. So, before we get into the champagne spraying, Luke Stevens, would you like to say a few words?
Thanks to my crew, first of all, for coming out. Largs Bay Sailing Club for getting behind us, supporting us, making sure we get a team together. Big ups to the CYC for letting us use the boats and getting behind the initiative that Harry and Vicey set up. Dale for being a major part of that and bringing the boats around and being here from the crack of dawn till everyone leaves, making sure the boats are 100%. Everyone else who got behind it, Port Adelaide Council, whoever else, spectators of course. Good to see everyone out here on the docks.
Thanks, Snook, and just to reiterate, big thanks to Cruising Yacht Club South Australia. It was a bit of a tricky one presenting to the CYC what we're going to do with these boats. What? You're going to sail stadium racing, 5 boats against each other. Are we going to damage them? Yeah, just let it happen, let it happen. You got to scratch them. All right, so Adrian, if you'd like to hand the winner's trophy to Luke Stevens of the Largs Bay Sailing Club. Rightio, everyone, have you had practice at this?
Run, Adrian, run. Get out of there, mate.
Use that thing, Ryan.
Rightio, guys. Cheer up for Largs Bay Sailing Club. Fill her up. Rightio. That's a wrap, guys. If you're one of the first 79 to make it to the British, feel free. But we'll be heading over there once all the boats and everything are packed up. Congratulations to all. Big congrats to Harry for running this fantastic show. We look forward to bringing this even bigger and better to you again next year with the support of Port Adelaide Enfield Council and doing it right here once again. So thanks very much. Enjoy.